we are kicking things off with big entertainment news. The musical The Lost Boys has smashed records, hitting $1 million in box office last week at the Palace Theater, and Maya Rudolph absolutely broke all-time records for the show, breaking records for both the show and the Lyceum Theater with a total of over $1 million in gross revenue.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we dive into the world of Hollywood business. Hasbro has just secured a massive long-term lease, signing 31,435 square feet of office space at the historic Hollywood campus at the Lot at Formosa, setting the stage for their future in video games, toys, and their growing AI studio. Now for some incredible musical moments. Marla Mindelle is getting a Tony nomination for her role as Celine Dion in the parody musical Titanique, an incredible 10-year journey from the basement of a grocery store to Broadway, and she shared some unbelievable stories about her experience. And finally, we look at the financial future of Hollywood. The Securities and Exchange Commission is proposing major changes to how public companies report earnings, potentially allowing companies like Netflix to switch to semi-annual reporting, which could smooth out the choppy waters of the streaming industry and redefine what it means to be public. Broadway is buzzing with box office activity as several musicals compete for Tony nominations and set new performance records. The new musical The Lost Boys achieved its highest-grossing week yet, earning $1 million at the Palace Theater, despite playing at 85% capacity. The show co-leads the Tony nominations alongside Schmigadoon, which has seen a lower gross, playing at 75% capacity and bringing in $646,129. Both productions anticipate further momentum from the upcoming Tony Awards and associated press campaigns. Other contenders remain strong. Death of a Salesman continues to sell well with $1.7 million last week and an 88% capacity, while Ragtime maintained high attendance, grossing $1.1 million at a near-full 99% capacity. Cats. The Jellicle Ball is also commanding strong numbers at 94% capacity, albeit with a slight gross dip to $935,627. In terms of average ticket prices, Every Brilliant Thing, starring Daniel Radcliffe, remains the top performer on Broadway, with average admission just under $218. Radcliffe received a Tony nomination for the play and a nomination for Best Play Revival. Conversely, Beaches, a new musical, is facing challenges following its exclusion from Tony nominations. The show played at a low 47% capacity last week, marking the lowest attendance since its previews began on March 27, although grosses saw a slight increase to $520,119. Proof, starring Don Cheadle and Ayo Edebiri, has demonstrated continued popularity, playing at 96% capacity and grossing $911,572 with an average ticket price of $154. The Fear of 13, featuring Adrian Brody and Tessa Thompson, is seeing attendance decline, with capacity dropping to 80% and grosses falling to just under $718,000. Beyond the major contenders, Maya Rudolph has made headlines outside the Tony race. In Oh, Mary, she took over the lead role last week, shattering 2 all-time box office records at the Lyceum Theater. The performance on Friday, May 1, brought in $199,935, a record for any single performance in the house, and a total weekly gross of $1,540,979, setting new records for both the show and the Lyceum Theater. Finally, Megan Thee Stallion concluded her run of Moulin Rouge on May 1, posting a final high note with 99% capacity at the Al Hirschfeld Theater, bringing in $1.69 million, slightly below her starting week's total of $1.7 million. games, and intellectual property, giant Hasbro has secured a significant, long-term lease for 31,435 square feet of office space at the historic Hollywood production campus, known as the Lot at Formosa in West Hollywood, California. This historic site is deeply connected to the origins of the Hollywood film and television industry. The deal, announced by the landlord CIM Group on Tuesday, positions Hasbro to integrate its operations within a landmark location. Starting in the first quarter of 2027, Hasbro will occupy the third floor and a portion of the fourth floor in the Formosa West building, which is part of the 112,000 square foot, 5-story office complex. The lot at Formosa itself spans 11 acres and encompasses extensive production and support facilities at 1041 North Formosa Avenue along Santa Monica Boulevard. The campus features 7 soundstages, over 100,000 square feet of historic production office buildings, 3 modern office buildings, and 2 large parking structures. With Hasbro's lease, the entire campus is now 100% leased. Kim Boyd, president of Global Licensing and Entertainment at Hasbro, expressed enthusiasm about the move, stating, "We're excited to join the creative legacy of the lot at Formosa and invest in a dynamic new home for Hasbro's LA-based teams who work across film, television, digital content, gaming, toys, licensing, and our growing AI studio." The history of the location is rich, dating back to its construction in 1918 for Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbank. The space has been utilized by notable figures including Howard Hughes, George Lucas, and Samuel Goldwyn, and has served as the backdrop for iconic productions such as Some Like It Hot and West Side Story. The campus's evolution includes a major transformation in 2007, when CIM Group acquired the property and modernized the facilities by expanding the studio section and adding 3 new office buildings and a restaurant. The property was recapitalized last year through a $229.8 million sale, replacing prior debt with a $155 million loan, reflecting current Hollywood production levels. Other major tenants at the lot at Formosa include the Oprah Winfrey Network, Showtime, and Live Nation. Notably, HBO previously signed a long-term lease for 161,108 square feet of soundstages and office space in 2021. The Hasbro agreement marks another significant anchor tenant in this storied entertainment hub. Marla Mindelle has received a Tony nomination for her role as Celine Dion in the parody musical Titanique, marking a significant career milestone. Mindelle revealed that she was notified of the nomination just 10 seconds before a performance, calling it a once-in-a-lifetime event. She was also nominated for Best Book of a Musical for co-writing the show alongside Constantine Rousselet and Ty Blue. The Titanique musical reimagines the 1997 film, positioning Celine Dion as a passenger on the ship recounting her memories while singing her greatest hits, including Taking Chances and Beauty and the Beast. Mindelle and her team have developed the concept over a decade, evolving the production from an initial idea to a Broadway success after starting off-Broadway in a grocery store basement. Mindelle described the journey as incredibly blessed, noting the progression from using credit cards for initial costs to reaching Broadway. She expressed profound humility and pride at receiving recognition from the Tony nominating committee for her creative work. Mindelle shared personal reflections on inhabiting the character of Celine Dion, describing the role as a second language that has deepened her understanding of the artist's life and career. She emphasized the honor of channeling the artist's experience. The production features an improv section where Mindelle, as Celine, improvises stories tied to pop culture, a staple that has become a highlight for audiences. Mindelle noted that adapting to this requires balancing spontaneity with preparation, often thinking about the material during travel. Regarding audience interaction, Mindelle highlighted the unique atmosphere, describing the audience as treating her as if she were the real Celine Dion, with fans reaching out to touch her. She described the atmosphere as a gay Super Bowl due to the enthusiastic reactions. The show's long-term success has led to creative explorations, with Mindelle incorporating improvisations inspired by other Broadway musicals. The team has also noted that the show is garnering significant attention, with industry figures confirming the show's appeal, even though Celine Dion herself has not yet seen the production. Hollywood faces a potential shift in financial reporting, with the Securities and Exchange Commission proposing amendments that could allow public companies to opt for semi-annual earnings reports instead of quarterly filings. This proposal, aimed at making initial public offerings more attractive, could significantly alter how industry giants like Netflix, Disney, and Paramount disclose crucial data to Wall Street. The impetus for this discussion is rooted in the turbulence of the 2022 streaming market. That year saw Netflix report a significant subscriber loss, triggering an industry-wide pivot from subscriber acquisition to a focus on profitability. Experts suggest that the flexibility of choosing reporting frequency could have impacted how companies navigated these challenges. If companies elect to report semi-annually, key metrics such as streaming and pay TV subscriber numbers, alongside ad sales trends, could be shielded from immediate public scrutiny, potentially smoothing out volatile data points. Veteran media executives believe this ability to smooth out financial data is not to be underestimated, especially in an industry undergoing radical transformation where traditional pay TV revenue is declining while streaming navigates an uncertain path. The SEC chairman, Paul Atkins, stated the move is part of an agenda to redefine public company status and combat short-termism, often associated with quarterly reporting. While the changes are still being debated, the proposal offers companies more leeway to present their financial realities, potentially allowing the industry to project greater stability amidst ongoing market choppiness. This shift aligns with industry trends, as several major players, including Netflix, have already begun limiting the disclosure of subscriber numbers. The proposed changes signal a significant evolution in corporate transparency, with the SEC signaling that the discussion around reporting frequency may continue.